it just seems the talent evaluation portion of the NFL calendar gets longer and longer each year. And I would have to say that Justin Fields probably has had about enough of it right about now.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys, I mean, it happens every year, especially at that position. And the fact that we have so many of them, it just leads to, nitpicking, and everybody's going to have an opinion. The only people that matter, obviously, are going to be on Thursday and Friday, on Saturday when they make these decisions. But yeah, I think these players, they all say the right things. Oh, it's part of it, but we're all human, and when anytime you're going to get criticized, it's not fun. So yeah, I think they're ready to be done with it and hear their name selected.
Well, Justin Fields in particular, Kirk. I mean, because the night that the Ohio State, and I think I am saying it properly.
I just say Ohio State. I don't really get that. I never really have.
Well, just so then we'll just go Ohio State, and I'll take all the tweets.
Yeah.
But the night Ohio State just absolutely took care of business, to say the least, against Clemson, Fields was electric. I mean, he made every possible throw. To me, that was like an actual real live pro day where he was making all the throws on a route tree. And ever since then, all we're hearing is he's not Trevor Lawrence, he's not Zach Wilson, that it was Mac Jones who was traded up for. Now maybe it's Trey Lance. And the last thing I'm hearing now is, Mac Jones has shown how smart he is in the room, and Trey Lance is as well. And now the whole concept you're hearing is, we're not saying Justin's not smart, but it just makes it's nuts. So I just want your full evaluation of Justin Fields, of all the games of his that you've called, about what he's bringing to the table here.
And I just did this QB21 with all these guys, and kind of went over an hour with each of them, and got to know them on a whole different level. Even though when you do these production meetings, you get around these programs, you get to know them on a pretty good level. But it's not that you have to put one up and knock another one down. I'm very impressed with all these guys, but I don't understand. If you just asked me, from covering football as closely as I do the college game, and you said, tell me about these college quarterbacks, I would have said going into the season it was Trevor Lawrence 1A, Justin Fields 1B. And coming out of the season, when the season was over, before we got into the draft mode, if you would have asked me, I would have said Trevor Lawrence is 1A and Justin Fields is 1B. And some people maybe would have flipped that. And then we get into these last 3 or 4 months, and of course Zach Wilson, I had him last year as well. And he's an ultra talented guy and can create and is not afraid to create, which is important. And that's kind of the new trend, right, with these college quarterbacks coming out, with what we're seeing from Patrick Mahomes and Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield. It seems like that's like the new flavor of the month or the year for these NFL teams. But I don't get the criticism of Fields, especially he's not accountable or he's not willing to work hard. Last one to show up, first one to leave. Everything I've ever been around, I've always walked away with a very favorable impression of speaking with him. I've never walked away going, look, good thing he's physically gifted, because, wow, he doesn't have a chance. Like, I never even occurred to me. I've always thought the opposite. Always thought that he's the alpha in the room. Like, when he speaks, everybody gets quiet. No coaches around. He's the guy. He's the straw that mixes a drink, and hardest worker on the team. And he's a guy that transferred in, and with kind of like Russell Wilson when he left NC State, within a month he was voted captain because he had that it factor. That's Justin Fields. I mean, he leaves Georgia. He's never even been to Ohio, and within a couple of months, he's the guy. And so that doesn't just happen at a school like Ohio State. And Ryan Day, you talk to the NFL folks, Ryan Day is respected as a play caller and a guy that works with quarterback as anybody that works in the college game. And he would tell you, he goes on and on and on. I don't know if you've spoken with him. He goes on and on, bragging about him. If you remember when Dwayne Haskins came out, he was complimentary, but he was kind of like, I wish he'd come back for another year.
Right.
He was not going on and on and on. With Fields, he is. And so I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm still shocked that the Jets are not going to select him. I still think maybe they're just kind of kidding, and the number 2 pick will be Justin Fields. I don't know how you pass on him personally. With 6'3", 224 pounds, and runs a 4.4. Not to mention he can make every throw. Like all these college quarterbacks, it's going to be. It'll take some time as far as him picking up, NFL coverage and doing what he needs to do. Ideally, he would go somewhere and, kind of have a chance to sit there and watch and learn from a veteran, and then kind of like Patrick Mahomes did year 2, take off and go and become, I think, an elite player. So I don't know. I'm mystified by the whole thing.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.